I'll be touching
He
your neck.
loves to be the center.
Okay, Jacob.
Someone's kissing somebody.
Don't want anywhere.
On every cottage night with reasonable weather, Dad stood in front of our white aluminum shed and cranked soft baseballs with a yellow Little Tikes bat. My cousin Trevor and I waited with outstretched gloves 3 lawns down, but we rarely caught the balls, for they typically voyaged over the unstable wooden fence some 150 feet away. Folks, this scene remains one of the most enduring images of my childhood, for it epitomizes the reverence with which I viewed and still view my father. A 150-foot distance was neither the product of decent hitting mechanics nor ordinary adult strength. To a chubby 7-year-old, these home runs came from superhuman ability or a force that could only come from some transcendent being. Dad was the home run king of Lake Simcoe, but more broadly and in my world, he was the king. I never felt danger with Dad. When I was with him, the risks of the real world vanished. He was my protector. While such a perception is of course unrealistic, it still characterizes how I see my father today. Like the little boy on the sacred cottage grass, I feel invincible when I am with my dad. Even at 20 years old, he still offers me that peculiar sense that everything will be okay. He remains my father. However, such a feeling of security depends upon ignoring most of what he says. You see, my father claims to carry numerous professional degrees that he must have obtained at some awful university that specializes in wretched news. Dad is a meteorologist, as even if the sky is as blue as a porta potty, the sight of any cloud produces hysterics. Okay, here comes the rain. We may contend that one tiny cloud is not the harbinger of a downpour, but Dad interjects by name-dropping the only type of cloud he knows. That's a cumulonimbus, he posits. Amidst the radiant sunshine, his forehead crinkles like an unwanted piece of paper. Dad is a doctor. Any cough is a flu. If you fall on your butt, you have broken your back and will never walk again. When you go for a checkup, guys, make sure he checks the boys downstairs. Without fail, since I've been 10, he tells me that. Dad is a veterinarian, and his professors at vet school taught him that every dog injury stems from the hip or legs. Molly's sore tail isn't, that's it, it's her hip. Shit. Her arthritic back wasn't, it's her knee. Look out, I'm telling you, I'm not paying for a 3-legged dog. Her bad knee actually was a hip injury. Dad is an aviation engineer, or at least a pilot. Although the surefire way, as my mom told you, to avoid a catastrophic crash used to be lightly tapping the right side of the aircraft before boarding, he now almost humps it to avoid a calamity. Every takeoff makes a tragic noise. I don't like this noise. Come on, let's get up. He says this as his pale fingers squeeze the victimized armrest. I don't like this noise. Shit, it's not good. And if Dad were flying the plane, the wheels would have to come down at least an hour and a half before landing. Indeed, cliche indicates that calmness is supposed to accompany old age. But for you, Dad, each new year brings a new shtick or bohemasa. At 50 years old and probably more than halfway through your life, you remain as anal as Preparation H. To you, even the Grim Reaper would say, "Take it easy, Schiller." But we know that most of your zaniness comes from your refusal to ever stop being a parent. Your face turns albino white when I'm not wearing boots in the winter, because you will never quit panicking about your family's well-being. No matter how old we get, how many children I adopt, or how many tweets Maddie reaches, as long as you and Mom are around, our family will always have a surplus of concern. Mom and Dad, and Maddie and me, you have nurtured 2 children for whom family will always be foremost. We may be utter opposites. Her life goal is to mother Justin Bieber's children. Mine is to solve conflict in Israel. But we will always have one home.
She's got a better shot.
home will always be a place where you can escape civilized society. A safe haven in which you can analyze mom's jigglies, leave toenails on your nightstand, and where you can put cream on your feet until Helen rubs them. We will always accept that at 7:15 in the evening, you will invariably awake in a foul mood and look for something about which to yell and crinkle your forehead. Why are the dining room lights on? Well, Dad, we're using the dining room right now. Our absurd home will always tolerate that almost every rock song that comes on the radio will result in you thinking that it's the 1970s again, demanding Richie Sherman on the drums. And we'll just nod when you ask whether Lawrence Shanker would have been the right choice.
Oh, Jake, you're good.
It's like a Dean Martin roast there.
He actually does wonder this. This is not a joke.
She can have him. Oh my gosh.
Dad, unfortunately, you and I share copious mannerisms. At least I have inherited your obsession with detail and the desire to make everything grand. Soon, you will start smelling like prunes, and the area between your lower lip and wrinkly chin will accumulate food crumbs. But I will always feel like the vivacious boy watching your majestic home runs with the utmost veneration. Happy 50th birthday.
All right, great.